So, what kind of attendance are you guys expecting?
I actually reached out to him and asked, trying to see if he can help us get at least 10% of that. So
You know it.
we haven't heard back from him, but I'm sure he'd appreciated the compliment. But we look up to them. We're hoping to have at least 1,000 to 2,000 people there. We're just this is our first event in Texas. We're trying to get the people in Houston to recognize crowdfunding. Our biggest challenge is education.
Yeah.
We can walk into a room. I walk into investor rooms all the time and ask them who's heard of crowdfunding, and maybe 1 out of 20 people has ever heard of Kickstarter or crowdfunding. So it's just right now it's a challenge. It's exciting and it's also a challenge because we know there's a big opportunity, but we also get nervous because people have never heard of it. So our job is to be kind of like an evangelist and let everybody know what's going on.
Now, I visualize Kickercon as being networking with experts, sharks, distributors, resource providers, social media, publicity, direct response, and all the folks that are the engine that make crowdfunding work. Because crowdfunding portals, if you don't raise the first 30%, 100% on your own effort, nothing happens. And so you need the professional resources, people that really know what they're doing to drive the traffic. And those are some of the people that you can meet down at Kickercon, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're hoping to have a lot of investors there on site. And, of course, we have Kevin Harrington coming.
Yeah.
And he's created a really nice show for us to be able to have people come in and pitch him and his fellow investors. So it should be a great show. We have 7 separate events actually, so it's a thorough show.
It is. I've known Kevin for probably 25 years. I've been in the direct response industry for decades. And I interviewed Julie Coons, the CEO of the Electronic Retailing Association. The direct response industry is a $300 billion industry. And I said to her, Julie, I've been in direct response for 25 years. I've looked at crowdfunding. It's really a new form of direct response. You tell a story on video and you distribute the video. That's direct response. Yeah. So I think one way to describe it, and this is a challenge for all crowdfunders, how do you introduce crowdfunding to your friends and family to help prime the pump? Because you don't want to just knock on the door and say, hey, I'm crowdfunding, give me some money. It's not panhandling. It's not charity. It really is the new business plan for the digital economy. So I think it's very important that guys like us, the pros in the industry, really help people and teach them how to explain what crowdfunding is and give them the tools they need to reach out, get it going right at home with the tools they need to introduce what crowdfunding is. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we designed Kickercon to be an education portal. So we understand that there's a formula, and most people think that they could just put up a video on Kickstarter or Indiegogo and magically money's going to appear. And people are shocked that they have to actually talk to their sphere of influence up front. And we've heard this from our consultants that are speaking. We got several that have told us the same thing over and over again. You have to do a pre-launch program, about 90 days, 6 to 8 weeks to work on a pre-launch. And then you got your campaign, and then you have to, it's not going to happen probably towards the end of your campaign that you'll probably finally got a media article written about you because of all this work you've done on the pre-launch. And then all of a sudden, you get all your money at the end. And they've noticed over time that this formula seems to work. So one of the things that we've tried to do is we try to have every aspect of that whole methodology taught at Kickercon. So the whole idea is you come to Kickercon, you're going to learn what crowdfunding is, you're going to learn how to have a successful campaign. And so that's what we've tried to make Kickercon be, because we understand there's an education process. Heck, when he approached me, I only knew about Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but I didn't really pay attention because I'm a tech guy. So I was more worried about how do I host this guy at Rackspace or something. So now I'm kind of savvy at it, but before I didn't even know what was going on with crowdfunding. Now I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. It seems like in equity crowdfunding, I think two or maybe three of the biggest initial successes will probably be real estate, maybe gas and oil, and franchising, because franchising is really where business hits the main street. And I could see returning veterans doing crowdfunding campaigns to raise the money, even rewards based or charity based, donation based, to raise the money they need to buy their job and start that. They're well trained, they're great people, and we owe them something. And this would be a great way to help veterans, get their feet on the ground and get going again. So, there's going to be great miracles really that come out of crowdfunding. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Terrell and I both are veterans. Actually, I'm active duty Air Force.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right. You're right about it. Us being well trained people, we can take what we've learned in the military and push it straight to something on the outside. Crowdfunding is a great avenue for that. Get you started and get your story out there. That's one of the stories. Actually, one of the things I wanted to bring up. We have a few people that are going to talk about telling your story, because that's one of the biggest things with crowdfunding is getting your story out there and getting it out there correctly. Showing exactly what it is that can relate to the person on the other end.
I have a shameless plug about veterans. We have 3-day passes for veterans. There's only a limited amount, but we can share that link with you for veterans that want to participate at Kickercon. We have that for students and for veterans. So if you have a DD-214 or your military ID, we'll give you a pass to come on down to Houston. But we also have it for university students as well.
That's awesome. There's a lot of ways that people can help with crowdfunding beyond even donations. If you don't have two nickels to rub together, but if you've got some friends and family, you can help a veteran or a campaign by helping it go viral, send it out, or put the word out, or providing support or help. I look at this, I really kind of go back to Abraham Lincoln. If you want an education, and if you're willing to walk 20 miles to get it, he got it. And that's kind of what crowdfunding does. It's not just a matter of, the haves and the have-nots. If you've got the spirit, the willingness, and the fortitude, the stick-to-itiveness to go for it and try, and you never fail until you fail to learn or quit. So if you've got the ability to stick with something, put the word out, you're committed to it, and you're willing to walk those 20 miles to do what it takes to make it happen, with crowdfunding, you can pretty much make it happen, don't you think?
Very much so.
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting situation because it's a 60, 90-day campaign, and you're really running hard. I mean, you're promoting. I mean, we're promoting this event, and it's a lot of sleepless nights. So I'm exhausted now, but the actual campaign, I don't know how some of these consultants can do 3 at a time, because the energy it takes to put your muscle into these projects is pretty intense, and it's a short period of time. And you pretty much got only about 90 days of energy to be doing this, but it's worth it at the end. And so I think it's a very exciting thing. You hear about return on investment in certain types of deals that you work, and it might take a year or 2 years. The return on investment maybe 5 years. The return on investment in crowdfunding would be 90 days. And if you know that you're going to get at least something for your efforts, it's actually worth it. Because before you didn't have it. Now you have this new tool that you can actually get things done. So right now there's really no excuses.
Well, you can also do serialized crowdfunding. So if at first you don't succeed, there's nothing to stop you from doing, one campaign after the next, and keep changing and keep trying, which is kind of the mantras of direct response: test, observe, adjust, expand. Because that's another huge benefit of crowdfunding, is the feedback that you get. I have interviewed more crowdfunding campaigners across all portals around the world than I believe any other human being on planet Earth. And I mean that sincerely, because I've interviewed 5 a day sometimes. And I always use my background in direct response to drill down and ask them, well, which journalist brought in the most money? What's their name? What company? What media company? What's their email? Did you get more traction with social media publicity? So if you don't have a social network, let the journalists do the heavy lifting. Tell a good story and pique the interest of the journalists. And also that 50% of funds, as much as 50% of funding comes into a crowdfunding campaign from outside of the host country. So global publicity is also powerful. And maybe the New York Times doesn't pick it up. Maybe the London Times picks it up, does the story. And then who does it next? The New York Times, after they see it in the London Times. There is something for everybody. And that's why everybody should go down to Kickercon August 28th in Houston, Texas, and join us all, because I'll be there too, guys. So thanks for joining me. Any final thoughts?
We can't wait to meet up with you down in Texas, down in Houston. That'd be great.
Go crowdfunding.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.